I just had this. Yep, yep. Thanks for starting the recording. So why I came up with this idea? Let me tell you my thought process. What I could sense is there's some disturbance. Anushka, can you please mute everybody, or we can go on mute ourselves.
Uh, okay. Yeah. Can you try now?
Yep. I think now it is good. So why I came up with this idea of live mock interview is because what I could see is people are there are a lot many sessions which are happening on interview basis where people come and they give their talk on how to give interviews and how to behave in that way. But what I could sense is in a group we are not getting a chance to prepare ourselves. For example, so how in a way how I'm preparing this particular session to be is I have a list of questions, and those questions I'll be expecting couple of you to answer. And why I'm expecting it in that way? Because to answer behavioral interview questions, you need a lot of stories. So I'm telling couple of times behavioral questions. Okay, so what are exactly these type of questions, and why are they asked in interviews? So these type of questions, they are asked to understand how you are as a person, how have you tackled some problems in past, and so these are the two high level objectives, and recruiter wants to know more about your soft skills. So in the world of chat gpt and large language models coming into picture, a lot of interview questions, answers for a lot of interview questions you will get directly. Okay, a lot of answers you will be getting directly, but so those set of questions where you're made to think about your past and you are made to answer, that answers you can't get from ChatGPT, and hence companies like Google, Amazon, and a lot of even Big Fours and many other companies, they have one round called behavioral interview round, and it helps them to understand more about your personality. So and they try to gauge whether you will be fit in their culture or not, how you will be acting in certain situations, etc. And most predominantly this round happens after the technical round. So that is the story in a nutshell. First they judge you technically, or it may happen first as well. So first they judge you technically, and then they proceed ahead with the soft skills. So the point to be emphasized is your soft skills are also important to get in any role. Point I mean to say, because a lot of times we focus on SQL aspects, or let's say you are from a data engineering background, you focus on SQL, Python, learning ML concepts, AI ML concepts, etc. But we forget to learn about how what are the soft skills which I need to prepare upon, how I can present my story in a very structured format in front of the interviewer. So, in a nutshell, if I tell you, recruiters are trying to gauge how we will act in certain situations, and this is where this round actually comes up into picture. So, and whenever I'll be asking a question, I'll expect if you have understood why this round is important, then probably so are you clear with why this is important? Just raise your just give a thumbs up if it is clear to you. Yep. Okay, I can see. So this is just a way to for me to collaborate so that we are in the forum, and we get to understand that whatever I'm trying to convey, you are completely understanding. Okay, okay, I see a couple of hands raised. So just try to set up that context. Now let me tell you more about myself, and how I have taken many interviews and how I have learned it. So I have total 5 years of 5+ years of industry experience till date. Predominantly, my experience is in the domain of being a business analyst and being a strategy consultant both. So I have been associated with companies like VMware, if you have heard, or I'm currently associated with LTI Mindtree as a senior business analyst and a strategy consultant. So and my predominantly role revolves around executing projects around process improvement, how we can improvise on revenue, how we can improvise our overall processes, and preparing for sales pitches. So talking in day in and day out with customers is a part of my role. So I have learned a lot about how I've learned a lot about being of such soft skills which are super important for you to crack any interview. So I've learned it from my role. I've taken more than 50 interviews in past, so I just make sure that I ask 2 to 3 behavioral type questions for every candidate. Let us say that that candidate is not so technically smart, but I make sure that I get a candidate with right set of attitude to join my team. So I ensure in that way, and that has really helped me in scouting out some really good candidates, even for my team as well. So in this way, this is important. And tell you about my personal background. I'm currently based out of Mumbai. I'm associated with Preplace from last 4 to 5 months on an active basis. I have taken more than 60 sessions, 50 to 60 sessions on Preplace. If once you go onto the website, you'll see my profile there. So it is a 5-star rating profile. You can see a lot of feedbacks there. And I've helped. So recently, I helped 2 of my mentees to reach out to get placed in to get offers from BCG, which is one of the top consulting firms, and second being TCS. And so there are a couple of more which I'll be discussing later in the sessions. But this is in a nutshell about my background. I keep writing on LinkedIn and I keep sharing my experiences there. So this session is also an experience sharing session in a form of a storytelling where we will be collaboratively learning between ourselves. So this is the agenda, and how we will be. So if we can go to the next slide, Poonam. Yeah. So okay, so now little bit of interaction. So I know a couple of folks did tell from where are they where from where have they joined the call. So I've told you about myself. Now I would like to know more about you as well in terms of your current experience, or what is your target company, and what is your preparation status. I know that the answer for third question may be a little subjective, but definitely you can just give that current experience, that you are a student or fresher, SF, or maybe a working professional, or your target companies is between the options which are being flashed up. So I would love to see those responses in chat. Okay, I see responses. You can answer as F, comma, maybe product, or preparation status is resume prepared, or anything of what you feel like. So as soon as I gauge the pulse of the audience, it will be helping me to channelize the session in the right direction so that you get maximum value out of it. So it is just to ensure that you get maximum value. Okay, okay, I see lot of response. Okay, okay. Desiring product companies. Okay, okay. I see a lot of freshers. Okay, freshers are there on call. Working professionals. Can you please thumbs up? Working. Can you get a thumbs up from working professionals? They can. They will be the. They might have experienced behavioral interview questions in past. I'm pretty sure in one or the other round they might have experienced. Yes, 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 Smita. Thanks for that acknowledgement. Okay, any more answers? And what about your preparation status? Is it in the resume state, or you're still applying for interviews, or you are developing some skill? So that really helps me to gauge where are we in that stage. And meanwhile, if you have any questions in between for the agenda of the session, you can raise your hand. I can answer it then and there. Okay, okay, developing skill. Nowadays I see that there is a lot of emphasis on developing skills, even on uh, I don't know how many of you follow Akshat Srivastav on YouTube. uh, I think Ankur Wariku and Akshat Srivastav, I used to follow both of them maybe till a couple of months back. Now I'm done with them. So whatever I wanted to learn, I've learned. So how many of you have heard them in past on YouTube? Just raise your hand. Just a thumbs up on. So what I've sensed is they have emphasized a lot on learning new skills. This is what learning new skills, and then maybe if you are learning more skills, then probably you get paid more. So they have emphasized a lot on this aspect. I'm a big supporter of that one. So, okay, I can see a lot of responses. Thank you for being participative. I'll ensure, so you're being participative in chat as well. So I'll ensure to you to participate when we actually start with our mock interview, with our question set of plan. Yeah, let us move to next slide. Please, team. Yep. So yeah, so how are we going to proceed with our session? Is Yeah, so how are we going to proceed is I'm having these 10 set of questions, and I'll be asking these questions in an open forum. So and how you wish to participate is just prepare your answers. Maybe it is just think about those answers. The questions will make you think. So these are prepared in this way so that you are forced to think. You won't get these answers on any automatic platforms. So these questions are prepared in that way, and how I am expecting you to ensure your participation is prepare your answer in mind. Just we'll be unmuting everybody after maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and I'll be expecting you to maybe talk about your answer. Then I'll be giving you a structure of how that answer can be improved, and then a collective feedback will be taken in that way, and I'll be giving you my answer as well. So this is kind of an maybe collaborative session which I am expecting. It is not like a monologue where maybe I'll ask Nitin to answer every question, and everybody will be listening on the call. So this is what I plan to do, and so these 10 questions what I have planned for today. And maybe if you want to discuss more, you can connect with me later. But this is what the agenda of the session would look like, and I'll ensure that you will get to know how why these questions are asked, how you should be thinking about when you move ahead with these questions, and when these such questions are thrown to you, so how you should be thinking in that way. So that is the overall agenda. So are we clear with the agenda? Let me know by a thumbs up. Yeah. Any doubts? Anything? I'm ready to answer it now, and set the expectations accordingly. Yeah, I can see a couple of thumbs up. Okay, thank you. Okay. So the first question for the day. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Shivang. Yeah, definitely. So what we'll be doing is, Anushka, can we just unmute the mics from now, so
Yes,
that
sure.
we ensure a good set of participation is also there.
Yes, done, Prashant.
Yeah, and to maintain some sort of a decorum, I'll just make sure, just everybody to make sure that you are on mute, and we don't disturb the audience. So just ensure that, and apart from that, everything will be fine. I consider everybody mature enough to understand those stuff. Okay, so first question. So, okay, tell me about yourself. Okay. I can see, sir, how to improve my communication skill. Okay, fantastic. That is a good question and a super broad question. So, okay, I've noted it down. I'll take maybe I can touch base upon in the last at the end of the session. Will that be fine? Whosoever asked it, I think Adarsh asked it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'll just take. I'm just noting it down, and I'll take that as a next set of like in the last final leg of the session. So we'll be finishing up. I'll try to finish this up in an hour or so, and then probably last 15 minutes for questions. So request you to note down your questions. So where when interviewer is trying to know more about yourself, you can see that there are a couple of questions which are posted here. But tell me about yourself is not ideally a behavioral round question, but many a times I get to see PV struggle a lot. There are hundreds and hundreds of YouTube videos according on this question where everybody is trying to answer this question in a different way. So I'll just make sure that I'll give you my point of view on this one. And next set of questions which are there are typical behavioral questions which you need to tackle. So I'm starting with first one. Tell me. So we can go to next slide, Poonam, if that's possible for you. So that I think now, yeah. So tell me about yourself. If somebody will ask you, you should have this answer always ready in your mind. Let it be any interview or any normal conversation, because uh, this really sets the tone of complete conversation. So you should be. So I see again telling I'm telling it again. I see a lot of folks who struggle to answer this question. So anybody who would like to self-nominate themselves for this question, maybe Anushka, if you can just pick out someone, and that person can answer it for me, and so that everybody learns collectively.
Yes, Shruti has raised her hand. I think so. Shruti, you can go ahead with it.
Okay, I see a couple of more hands as well. So definitely, I'll just take them after Shruti. Yeah, Shruti.
Okay.
So hope you have got the question. So I would love to hear your answer, and I would request everybody to note down what you liked about the answer, so that we can dissect the answer in a better way once we understand it. Yeah, yeah, Shruti, go ahead.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. My name is Shruti. I was born and brought up in Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh. I'm a fresher. I have recently completed my graduation in BTech in CS from PSIT Kanpur. Um, I belong to a nuclear family. My father is a serviceman and my mother is a housewife. My goal is to get a job at a good company. My hobbies are dancing, watching movies, and reading books. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. I see. Okay, we have answer from Shruti. I see a hand raised from Vishnu as well. Vishnu, would you like to give a try? I've noted it down, Shruti. Thanks for being super participative and being the first one in the crowd. I really appreciate. So kudos to you.
Can I talk?
Yeah, yeah, Vishnu, go ahead.
Hello, sir. Myself, Vishnuvardhan. I'm currently a second year student pursuing my BTech in Gates Institute of Technology. I am talking about myself. I completed my schooling in St. Thomas English Medium School and my college in Narayana Engineering School. I am proficient in C, Python, and Java. Currently, my aim is to become a software development engineer. On my way to achieve my goal, I am currently improving my data structures and algorithm skills. I want to learn DSA in Java, so I'm currently solving problems in using Java. I solved 50 plus questions in array and solved
Mhm.
20 plus array pattern problems.
Okay, okay, okay,
Talking about my strengths and weakness, when I solve problems, I would like to not to move another problem until I solve that. But that is also my weakness because solving one problem will take so much time. So that would be my weakness. Thanks for the opportunity. I
okay,
mean, like,
okay. I think we have two answers for first question. I see a couple of more hands raised. So maybe let me give a try. Let me tell you why the person is asking you this question. Okay. So let me be directly ruthless here. I don't want to give you false hopes on any answers. Both the answers were good, and again, kudos to you for talking in front of crowd. That really helps you to increase your confidence, and that is the best skill to have. So recruiter doesn't care about your personal life. I'm just telling you, okay? They are just trying to, and they don't care about your irrelevant job experience, or maybe let's say Vishnu, you are applying for uh, a business analyst role. Let's assume, and so he is little less interested by to understand your technical skills. I know that the company name was not clear to you, so you just gave a generic answer, but I'm just trying to tell what the recruiter is not expecting you to add there. So he's not expecting to understand your personal life. He's not expecting to understand or listen to your irrelevant job experience. Okay. So these are the 2 points which you can straight away avoid. I'm just trying to give what is not needed there. Two things which they are looking at. Let us assume you as a recruiter there. So what what are the two pointers which you will be probably looking? Is is Shruti or Vishnu can do the job role which they are trying to apply? Straight and simple. And second point which we will try to understand is, do you fit in the company's culture or not? So they are just trying to understand these two questions. I would like everybody to note these two pointers, what they are trying to look at. You will see a lot of structures. Even I'll be giving you a point-wise structure on how and what should be answered there. But you will see a lot more structures floating around everywhere. But what I would like you to note is they are just looking at two things. First thing is, can you do the job? Second is, will you fit in company's culture? So they are just trying to look at these two things. And whenever you are starting to give an answer, just make sure that by the end of the answer, you feel that you have answered these two questions for the recruiter. Okay, is that something new you understood in a form of a structure? So I just gave you two pointers which they are looking at. I'm yet to give you a point-wise structure, so that is not there in the slide. I would like people to note it down going ahead. So yep. Okay. Thanks, Vishnu. Shruti, does this give you a picture of? You could. What I could sense is, I know you have little less experience in terms of you're a fresh graduate. So there are a couple of pointers which you could have avoided, or where the recruiter might not be interested to know, but you could have added more pointers about your past projects. Let's say that you are interviewing with TCS for a business analyst role. So in a way, how you can relate your past projects with the current role. So he or she is just trying to understand it in that way. So yeah, how to get referrals? Okay, okay. Maybe that is little off context for now. I'll note that down. Maybe last 15 minutes I'll answer these questions. Yeah. Anybody would you if you so there are a couple of pointers which I would like you to note it down is in terms of structure. So your current role, number one thing is maybe when once you tell about your name, your I come from Mumbai or any city, they will try to understand your current role or maybe your current state. If you are studying, then they will try to understand your current state, or they will try to understand your current role, where a lot of emphasis is given on. Second point which they would like to know is probably your unique factor. Let's say if I talk about my unique factor, I'll say that okay, I'm a writer on I write on LinkedIn, and during the month of January to March, I had more than 500K views on my post. So this is something which is unique, and that recruiter is taking interviews day in and day out. So if we give a very flat answer, it may not catch the attention. So and first 1 or 2 minutes are make and break. I see it in that way. So I just want to ensure that you identify one unique pointer about you, and that you should be putting in your tell me about yourself section anyhow. And so I just told you about your current role or your current state. That should be your first pointer. Second pointer to add upon will be good about your unique factor about you. Whatever is unique and what you're doing it differently from the rest of the crowd. Just think that okay, there are 3 to 4 Vishnus who might have given the interviews, but I want to stand out differently. So just trying to give an example. So what would be that one pointer? Now that can be stage where I don't have anything unique. What to add upon? You can think if you think just maybe you can mention your non-unique point in a unique way. Definitely, I'll just give a couple of examples once we move ahead. Yeah, and the third section within that should be you can show your recent success. It is highlighting that you have done something in recent past, so that and you have achieved some results. If you are in your if you are still studying, then you can tell about your recent success or anything about your role. You can tell that. So that should be your third pointer. I hope everybody is noting it down. I've purposely not mentioned it on the screen because it becomes a little monologue. But I hope everybody is with me on this one. So can I get a thumbs up if you are with me? I've told 3 pointers as of now. So first thing is your current state or your current role. Second would be add your current, add your unique factor, whatever you're thinking that you're doing it unique. Third would be add your recent success. Fourth would be maybe this is not relevant for those freshers, but overview of your previous role. Hello, was there a sound? Any question there? Any question really pertaining to this context before I move to next? Yeah, okay, you're not getting shortlisted. Okay, so some resume preparation will be needed definitely. You can reach me out one on one personally later on so that I can help you in that way. So I have told you four. We can add recent projects related to this role. Yeah, yeah, you can add recent projects. So whatever you have done, whatever you have worked upon. Let's say that you have a working repository of your projects. You can talk about it. So you can just have that relativity between that role. I see that that factor is missing out in a lot of candidates still, if when you have everything mentioned by not many folks online. So just to ensure that you talk about your recent successes and how are you trying to improve, that should be your final fourth or fifth point. So in a nutshell, if I tell you, the first point should be your current role, number one thing. Number two things should be your unique factor. Number three would be share your recent success in your job role, off your job role, for any project. This is the third point. Fourth point should be an overview of your previous role. So this may not be relevant to the freshers, but relevant for working professionals. Add more about your previous role. And the last pointer should be maybe what are you trying to learn and how are you trying to improve. So this four or five pointers in a nutshell will give the recruiter a picture of how you can add value to them. So we started this discussion by talking about, can we, the recruiter is thinking about, can you do the job, and whether you fit in the culture of our organization. So these five pointers will help you in answering those two questions. Yeah, okay. Previous role is from a different industry, no problem at all. Different industry, no problem at all. But try to relate your industry experience with the current role. Relating that experience is important. Otherwise, the recruiter will think that your experience which you have apart from different industry experience, they will count as irrelevant experience. You may not be even considered a good candidate for that position. So that relativity is important. So just ensure that you can relate, talk to experienced professionals within that industry, or the industry where you want to go, and then add that relativity factor of how I can be a good candidate for this one. Let's say that from business development domain, maybe sales domain, you want to come to business analyst domain. So how you can establish that connectivity? Maybe I have this habit of communicating with customers frequently, and what I understand is communication is a very important aspect for a business analyst role, and hence I want to be a business analyst. So you just set the context by relating both the worlds, and that is what is important. So I hope that I've cleared upon what is expected ideally in this question. So in just 10 minutes, maybe I'll proceed to next question. I see there are two hands raised up. So are those questions, or you want to add any point, or you want to take a try on this answer? Maybe you can unmute yourself and go ahead. Yeah. Hello, I see a couple of hands raised. So I hope Anushka, they have the right to unmute themselves, right, Anushka?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. Yeah, Adarsh, you have any question?
Yes, sir. How to consultancy maintain?
I
I
didn't get
am,
you. Sorry.
sir. I am a second year student, and how to consultancy maintain?
How to? Your voice is breaking, Adarsh.
Sir, sir, consultancy maintain.
Are you relating to consistency? How you
Add a
maintain
coding
communication?
per, add a coding perspective. Add a communication.
Okay, you are trying to understand how you can improve your communication skill. If that you are trying to understand.
Yes, sir. As well as coding skills. to get a good company?
Okay, so maybe this is not the agenda of the session, but I'll just briefly answer it. So to improve your communication, I will say always be participative to talk in your work language. When I say work language, predominantly it will be English. So always be
Sir,
open to communicate. Hello.
the second question, sir, importance of communication in the industry.
Okay. Okay. Okay, let me answer that second question first. It is the utmost important skill. Above, I consider that as top of any skill which you could have. Because if you have technical skills, definitely it is needed. But communication skills will help you get promoted in your career. So I consider communication skill as the most important skill to have. So and how you can develop communication skill is okay. This is again a topic where I can go on for next 1 hour, but I don't want to go there since this is a different forum. You can read about business stuffs as in simple applications. I think in my last session I have also referred to application like FinShots, if you have heard of that. So you can understand business concepts in a very simplified format. So once you start reading those concepts, reading those articles, you start to think in that language. And when you start to think in that language, it will give you more context while talking, and it will improve the way in which you express your content and you talk in front of people. So stick to one application and read that daily. So there are a lot of news applications which I don't prefer reading, telling you frankly, but I prefer reading unbiased and good business context application, and FinShots is one of them. So I prefer reading that to improve my communication skills. Apart from that, I communicate frequently with maybe in my organization, in my role itself. So that on-job communication skill development happens for me. So these are the two things which I am doing. Predominantly, I'll tell that maybe you can refer to application called FinShots to develop your thinking process and to talk about. Maybe you can connect with me offline. I can tell you more. But in the context of time, I'll have to move to next question for now.
Okay, sir. Sir,
Okay. Okay.
sir, importance of project to the crack a interview.
Okay, so this is little off track on this session, Adarsh. But can you make sure that we have a one-on-one session later on? I can help you answering this question because there are other 35 folks waiting for next question, if that is
Okay,
fine.
okay, okay,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah. 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 We can go to next question, Anushka.
Continue. Hello, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shall I continue? Sorry, I think you moved to the next question.
Yes. Yes. Would you like to give a try for next question, sir?
I mean, I was try to answer this question.
Yeah. Tell me about. Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm a software engineering graduate with 7+ years of experience in the field. I've been working in this industry and helping peoples to build their business and grow using technologies. And on average, I've been able to help my clients really increase their engagement with their customers. My real strength is my ability to understand the requirements of the clients and to create a solution that meets their needs, to work in a team environment, and I am always ready to learn new things. I pride myself on my reputation for creating performant and engaging software solutions that help my clients to achieve their goals. What I'm looking for is a company that I could add value to and that I could produce a positive return on investment.
Okay. Okay. So, I hope that you have written down the pointers. Thank you for your answer. Thank you for being participative. I hope that you have written down your pointers. So, just try to relate on whether you are answering those two questions or not. You could partially, I see that you could partially answer. Let's say that you are interviewing for a software engineer question, you could partially answer the question of can you do the job. But I think that next question of how can be a cultural fit within that organization, probably you will have to think about it. So just ensure that whatever pointers I have told you, just make sure that it is aligned with that. So we'll, in the interest of time, we'll move to next question, please. So second question is, when have you completed? So now we'll be bit fast. We'll take one answer for time, and then probably I'll talk about my answer as well. So you'll get to see how I think in such terms. So when have you completed? So I would request everybody to think through it, because as I told you, a lot of questions can be answered through maybe automatically through different AI applications. But these questions you won't get a perfect answer, and this is what will portray you as a person in front of the recruiter. So okay, when have you completed a difficult task or a project? I would like everybody to note it down, maybe in pointers in their notepads. And anybody who would like to take a try on this one, Panushka, if you see any hand raised for now, and who's ready for to answer this question. I
Yes,
see I see
I
Poonam.
think,
Yep.
yeah, Poonam can go ahead.
Yeah, Poonam, and
Okay.
we'll take one more answer as well. Yep. Yep, Poonam, go ahead. Maybe you can just give your answer in a minute, so that it gives a perspective.
Sure. So, good afternoon. And the difficult task or project that I've completed is one such post my graduation. So, I'm a BCom graduate, and post my graduation, I tried my hands under a CA. So in that like area, it was most like accounts and business. So I was really weak in accounts, but I tried so that I could just get a hands-on exposure of it. So what has happened, I got a project of like telling one particular business, and it was completely something that I had no idea how to do. So
Hmm.
I tried my best. I went to Google, I searched, I read a couple of things, I went through my books and understood how to do things. And then finally, when I like I could not complete the task like completely, but I could sense that I am like 90% ahead of what I was. So
Hmm.
yeah, it was like an accomplished feeling that I did. So yeah, it
Okay.
was a
Okay.
difficult task.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I could see that you have quantified as well. So I see one more hand raised up, and maybe if you would like to unmute yourself and give a try. Thanks, Poonam. Thanks so much. Thanks, it means a lot. Yep. Uh, if is there any more hand raised? I can see one, but I can't see your name. Anybody else? Would you like to give a try on that one? Okay, and then I will. Okay, so we have. I didn't read the name, but you can unmute yourself and can give a try by just spelling out your name, please. Yeah, go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah. So, can you able to hear me, right?
Yes, loud and clear. Yep.
Okay, so I hope here everyone is doing very well. So my name is Suresh Kumar. So I have a website believe programmer, so that I believe myself a lot. So that's why. Okay, let me coming to the point. So which project I have been facing, I went through a lot of time because I was working WordPress. So there is a requirement. So we have to build a farm builder. So I got the requirement. So I gave it to my some of my interns. They have gone through. They can't able to make it work farm builder, but I was quite good in JavaScript frameworks React, but I was not familiar working with PHP. Then I have decided to build the farm builder by using React and generate the script, and we can implement in the WordPress. So this is the thing I have decided to build the farm builder. So it took me some time to understand the WordPress REST APIs. So I have gone through it. So and I built the WordPress form builder for the client. So they were happy. So this was very tough project. So I got a quite short deadline to complete this, but I was not familiar in PHP. So I built the form builder entirely using React.js, and I was done it off given
Okay.
timeline. So this was the difficult task for me, but I did it.
Okay. Okay. In both, so I'm just trying to give my feedback. Okay, in both the answers, we had a lot of pointers and we had everything to convince that okay, I have done a difficult task and I have achieved it. Okay, these 2 pointers were very common in both of them. But what they lacked, I felt it. Have you all heard about star approach? A simple approach which I have repeated, I think more than 10 times. Have you heard about it? Just give a thumbs up if you have heard about star approach. Yep, yep. Okay. And so, what can happen? Let's say that the interviewer is giving you a question. When have you completed a difficult task or a project? What can majorly happen is, let's say that I don't know the answer. First thing, let's say that I don't know the answer, and the first thing which I do normally when I am tackled with this question is I ask for 30 seconds, because I need to structure my thought before even trying to spit out a word. Because if I start telling directly that okay, when have you completed difficult task or project, it will sound very unstructured if I just start directly. So this is what I have felt from my experience. I ask for 30 seconds, and this is what is showcasing that you are asking for time to complete a job, or whatever you are trying to do. So just ask for 30 seconds if you're not clear with the answer in the first go. 30 seconds or 15 seconds, whatever you would feel like, but take a pause. That thing I would recommend. Not for every answer, but for maybe for at least for behavioral questions where you need to think like before even trying to tell. So what was, you might have done many tasks, but what was the most difficult task, and you should know more about that task as well. So just think that what tasks should I be telling so that it makes more sense. That would be my number one pointer. Number two pointer is always talk for any question, that maybe this might be valid for all interview questions. Just think about star approach. Star approach in a nutshell, it is S stand for situation. What was the situation when you were given this difficult task or a project? T, what were the tasks which you did? What were the tasks which were given to you to complete this difficult task or a project? What actions you took to complete those tasks, and what was the result achieved after that? So it gives everything to the recruiter who's looking at you, and it moves in that direction. That okay, is setting up the context. So whatever, even in movies when we see, if you guys have seen Lagan movie, in start of the movie, every situation is set up that okay, the village was facing XYZ problems, and then at the end you can see that okay, the match which they were playing, it was won, and then there were some tax rebates given to farmers. So that complete movie is a perfect example of a star approach. Maybe the example is not so relevant, but whatever movies you see, or whatever articles you read, or whatever you see, everything, it has some structure. So star approach is just one of them. So it is very important to set the situation first and then move ahead. So if I just try to answer this question for me, number one thing which I'll do is I'll take 30 seconds. Okay, recruiter, okay sir, can you just give me 30 seconds to answer this question? And then what I'll tell is, after let's say I've waited for 30 seconds. So I'll tell that I'll just shortlist a difficult task which is sounding relevant to the interviewer, and I will not tell a difficult task which is not sounding relevant to the interviewer. Let's say that I am interviewing for a business analyst role, or maybe any relevant role. I'll just shortlist that task only in my mind, so that the recruiter will connect with that task. Any difficult task which is irrelevant, recruiter may not be interested in knowing that task. The person is sitting there to shortlist you, and if you give more chances to get shortlisted, then only it has value. Otherwise, this question we'll just, okay, difficult task, we do so many difficult tasks, and the person is not interested in knowing the exact actual difficult task. So you can tell any task, but make that sound as a difficult one for if that is relevant. So shortlist a relevant difficult task. Let's say that I am giving an interview for a pre-sales role, where a lot of customer interactions are being prioritized. I need to talk in front of them, develop stories so that they buy our consulting pitches, and so on and so forth. So I want to highlight a difficult task. So what would I do is, situation when I joined. So I'll start in this way. Situation when I joined this particular project, there were less people in my team. So this is the situation which I'm setting up. Now, if I just move a step ahead, there were a couple of tasks which I was doing at that time of this RFP. For example, I was working in a project as well, and there were a couple of RFPs also on which I was working. So handling both the things at the same time was the most difficult thing which I have experienced in my role. Now, what I'm highlighting here is these were the tasks, and now what actions I took. In a nutshell, I'm just telling, I'm not going in detail of how I'll be taking this up, but first I've set the context, then I've told my tasks. Now I'll be taking what actions I took to come out of that situation. Is what I thought about is, instead of being present everywhere in while responding for while responding for multiple tasks, I just shortlisted what can be outsourced here. To maybe I would need a helping hand because I can't be present everywhere. So I divided my tasks and responsibilities, my responsibility into two sections: what can be done by me and what can be done by anybody else in the team. So that division helped me in maybe getting a candidate who can help me with this customer RFP. I just oversaw what the person is doing to ensure that what is delivered to the customer. So I just divided that, and it gave me a result that that RFP was also won, and I could complete my project on time. So handling multiple things, it will set the context that person is a multitasker. Maybe he can handle multiple things at a time. He can handle pressure as well, and he's being collaborative there, trying to take help of folks around him or her. So this is the context which I'll set, and this in this direction I'll move ahead. So whenever you are, so two things to literally take away from this one is, ask for 30 seconds and think about maybe three things. Is ask for 30 seconds, think in star approach, and the third thing would be shortlist a difficult task which is relevant to that specific or job role. So these are the three things, and I hope that you got a perspective on how to think through a sample question. Maybe in next question, I will expect you, what whosoever is answering, maybe I'll expect that if it is in a star format, definitely I would sense that you have learned couple of pointers from this question. So just give me a thumbs up if you are with me on this one. Okay, I see a couple of times. Thank you. So first thing, yeah. Now coming to the next question. Describe a stressful situation and how you have handled it. Now I have purposely shortlisted this specific question. In the last question, it talked about what is the difficult task. Now, if you sense it very carefully, you will notice some similarities in this question as well. So I would say, anybody would like to give a try on this one? Yeah, I see Harsh and one more person raised hand. So Harsh, can you give a try on this one?
Sure, Prashant. Hello, first of all. Glad to see
Yep.
you here.
Yep.
Yeah, so my name is Harsh and I'm the founder of uncodes.io. Talking about this, like I'll take the star approach and I'll explain the situation. Okay, so usually at Uncodes, we have a segment of WhatsApp business marketing. And since this is a new field, like it is in the emerging state, so like there are limited number of clients which we are getting. So usually we have like a cloud storage of like to manage somewhere around 20,000 to 30,000 of daily messages. So like back then last year in December, we had a client who gave me a call all of a sudden on a Sunday morning, and he told that we need to like 1 lakh messages to be like forwarding to our clients by next week. So in a span of 7 days, managing the content, managing the cloud storage was like a sort of challenge for us, me and my team as well, because like this particular WhatsApp business does not work on one single API. We need an IT team with us. We need the content team on the same page. We need the marketing team on the same page, and we need the research as well. So that was one sort of a challenge. And since like we were not expecting that volume of client like transactions to be happening, so we wanted to handle it very well. Since I cannot say no to our client, since like in the like when we are in the seeding stage, we cannot say no to our client. So what we did is we divided the page. We outsourced one part. Like we thought whether we'll be able to complete it on not, like we'll be able to complete it or on time or not. So we outsourced one part of our work, that was of research, because I believe that if you are on a timeline and you want the main expertise, so outsource is the best option. And just by outsourcing that particular task, we were able to like manage everything and give the result on time, like provide with the 30,000 to 40,000 transactions on time. Along with that, after what we provided to our client, he saw a spike of 50% revenue by launching that one. So
Okay.
that would be my answer. Thank you.
Thanks, Harsh. You really added very good pointers. But I have one feedback point for you. Maybe I'll tell once I get to know any more answers in the team. I saw one more hand raised. Anushka, any more hand you can see?
I think there is someone, Smarnika Sahu.
Yeah. Maybe you can unmute yourself and go ahead. And there are a lot of questions which may not be answered here. I know that folks have doubt on how to get interview calls and how to convert interviews. So this is just a part of it of your complete interview process. So making a resume, how you can utilize your LinkedIn network. So altogether is a different story which I am not currently touching base on. I think there is a link pasted in the chat. You can book a trial session there, and we can interact on a one-on-one basis. So just to let you know that. So if there is any more hand, Moranika, if I get the name correctly, can you just give a try, and before I then after that I'll give a feedback for Harsh's answer as well. Yeah, anybody who wants to can unmute yourself and then give answer. I see one belief programmer. I don't know your name, sorry, but you can give a try.
Yeah. So
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know how to handle that situation. So I'm gonna ask you that so you guys can help me to handle that situation. So previously I was working in a startup company. So I was the one who has more experience in that company. So we were hired some interns to complete our projects. At that time, I was helping to some other people to grow, how to understand the situation, how to fix their bugs as well. At that time, so most of my time was helping them to fix their bugs. I can't able to work on myself to complete my tasks at the time. So my manager, my CEO will ask me, so what do you have done today? I couldn't able to handle that situation. I was helping them to handle the fix their issues. I even at the time, so they were new, they don't know how to do it. I have to help
Okay.
them to first understand the situation. Then I give the some task to them. They can't able to finish the task. I have to sit and finish the task given timeline. So I
Okay.
don't know how to handle that situation. Could you please someone
Okay.
help me with that?
Okay. I'll give my 2 cents also on that one. Probably we have two answers. We'll move ahead with the next one. And first, I'd like to give a feedback to Harsh and even to your answer. So Harsh, you did fantastically well in star approach, but what I could sense in your answer is you can be pretty concise. If you were trying to explain your actions or and tasks, you gave your situation context very well in short, You gave your result context also very well and in short, but you took a lot of time in T and A section, so which could have been done better. So this is what I could feel. And normally these questions, answers for these questions, if they are in the range of 45 seconds and less than a minute, it definitely keeps up that attention span, takes up that attention span, and you move ahead. So I would request you to just be concise in your answers and move ahead. So I hope that now you're able to relate, and you could easily find out. I'm pretty sure that you will be able to find out what are the extra things which you might have told, and you could have maybe cut short on that one. So
Hmm. Yeah.
this would be my feedback, because your answer has had a lot of content to and it was a result driven answer. So that would be my feedback. Second is maybe how others can get useful, can use these answers, is a lot of times you don't have stories. How is the question? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm coming on that one. I see how is this question different from last question. Is how are these stories helping others who maybe not, they are not answering? Because there are a lot of times when we don't have enough stories to tell about, and we are being forced to answer these questions in interview. At that time, we can't tell that, okay, I don't have an answer for this question. Probably I have not faced a stressful situation. This is just a different version of what was there on the previous slide. You can talk about your difficult task as a stressful situation. You can talk about your stressful situation as your difficult task. So purposely this question was put up, and my answer would be the same answer in a different context. I'll use words like, okay, I was being stressed here. I managed that stress in a different way, but the overall context of what I will take it will be same. So what I would recommend, and the purpose of this group session is you will get to listen to a lot of stories which you can maybe think upon yourself and then give your own answer. So just like one person also, I didn't get your name, but you told about you majority of your time was going in a way to help uh, freshers join the team, and if and then you were trying to. So this is a very common scenario. Everybody might have experienced somehow or the other, or maybe senior folks might have experienced this specific context in a lot of stuff. So how I would have tackled this situation is, if there are a lot of many folks, lot many freshers in the team, I would have a buddy mentor sort of a relationship. I will ensure that not everywhere I should be going to solve the problem. I can't be present everywhere. So I will ensure that one buddy is assigned to one newbie, everybody in the team, or let's say that it is a small size team. Definitely, I will ensure that there is one person behind two freshers or three freshers, so that the workload gets divided. It has a lot, it showcases a lot that you believe in others also, instead of, yeah, so quite a few folks have this habit of going in every situation and then trying to solve the problem. So I'll ensure that buddy mentor relationship is established, and for not for each and everything the person is coming to me for to solve the problem. So I'll ensure that to solve this stressful situation and the difficult task in whatever way I could portray, and it could have been done. So I read a question in chat that how is this different from previous question. It is not different at all. You just have to set a different context for this one. Your stories can be same. So you just heard about two stories and you can relate it with your personal experience, and then try to frame your own answer in star approach. So in this way, I think it will give you a perspective. I hope that I gave believe programmers. I think I just forgot your name again if you told. So I just gave you a way of how this could have been solved better. Maybe this could have not been the perfect solution, but it definitely gives a context about how I'm attempting to solve the problem. Maybe in interview we shouldn't tell that, okay, I have faced a stressful situation but I have not solved that stressful situation. So you should be very clear about that you have achieved that end about whatever situation you are talking about. So leaving it in midway will give a bad image about you to the recruiter. So I hope that that gave you clarity around it. Okay. In any more, anybody else, would you like to give a try on this one before we move to next question? And with the explanation which I gave, probably in any star approach format in 45 seconds if you want to give a try. Okay, okay. So in chat, just tell me that okay. Let's if you don't want to give a try. So in chat, just tell me that whatever structure I'm just trying to tell you, you're able to grasp, and it is helping you to think through. Because uh, I am pretty sure that not everybody will be answering a lot of questions, but when such a question is portrayed to you, you try to think in those terms and then move ahead. So I'm pretty sure that you might have thought about the situation. You might may not be ready to speak, but definitely it is helping you to think through and giving you a lot of stories reflecting your past experience, maybe your education experience or work experience. So give a thumbs up if this is really value adding to you. Okay, you can just acknowledge. Yep, yep, yep. Okay. We have already spent an hour, so let me move to next question. Yep. Yeah. So describe a time when you have embraced a change within your organization. So this was asked to me in one of my interviews. So I'll personally give my complete answer on this one. So yeah, anybody else? Anybody would you like to would now like to give a try on this question, because this question is increasingly important because things are changing very fast these days, and if you are being if you have participated in that specific change, it reflects a lot about your personality, and this is where I purposely chose upon this one. So describe a time when you have embraced a change within your organization. Would anybody like to give a try on this one? Yep, Anushka, anybody from you
Yes,
can see?
I think Nandani would be answering this question.
Yep, Nandri, go ahead.
Yeah, so basically I'm in college second year right now. So I was doing an internship with the fashion brand. So basically I was working as an influencer manager. So at that moment the company didn't have like a fixed way to set the records or to keep the information properly. So basically what I did, like we started properly, they used to maintain all the records in an Excel sheet, which was kind of very difficult to transfer from one person to another, as it was totally a work from home job for everyone. So what we did is we basically started using Google Sheets and Slack to communicate online, so that it kind of made it easy to communicate instead of calling every person and messaging them personally. So I think that was a great change for the startup, because basically it was a startup, so it didn't have any this many features. So yeah, I think that was a
Okay,
great change for the organization, and it helped a lot. It helped us a lot during the our working hours. So yeah.
okay, okay. I think your answer was structured till situation, but I couldn't see results in it. So now I'm trying to just introspect on what I've explained, and whether I'm trying to gauge whether you are able to apply that specific framework. I hope you're getting what I'm trying to tell. Is when you say that it was a great change, that change should be somehow quantified. Because I know that that is also that is little difficult, but you could have added more quantification, maybe some numbers to it, so that it reflects that okay, it was a number A at some point of time. Now it turned to maybe number B after you contributed in that change. So that should be the overall context. Anybody else would you like to give a try? Anybody else? Simple thought, just about any change, any small change which you have participated. You can make that change sound as a super big change. That is also a skill to have. So any small change where let's say anything was done on Excel and you developed a Google form, and then it went on in that way. So this is also a sample change which you may have started. So you can make this change sound as a super big change in your answer, and that will be pretty welcomed by the recruiter. So any other answer on that one before I go on my answer? Okay, I see Abhishek. Yeah, Abhishek, hi. Uh, can you give a try on this one, please?
So yeah, hi Prashant. Hello
Yep.
everyone. So I would just give a simple example as to how I had a recent. So last November, I had a change in my organization. So I'm working in a US based logistics company. So last October, they were trying to spin off to another company named as RXO. So at that time, what happened was I thought that this is a big change management, and what an initial thing they did was they had an European-based business which they
Mm,
did sell it off, and they listed both of the. So my company XPO, it was already on NYSE, so they listed this RXO on NYSE as well. So, but when it was listed on November, so what happened was the stock price wasn't that great. So, the major thing here, what I faced was I had to take a decision whether I have to keep keep trusting the company whether it would bounce back or I'll have to search for a new job. So,
mm,
in this time, what I actually did was I waited for 3 months and I saw that the existing business which we had, it wasn't let off or anything else, and we were having the same value of work, and also my visibility was increased. So that's why
mm.
I thought that I'll just probably stay here for another year and then think of something else. So since last November, so till now I am in this company only. So things are going pretty good. So that was the situation which I faced, and based on some events, for example, I thought that I was getting good work and I was being recognized. So I thought that I'll stay in my company. So that was one example of
Okay,
my personal
okay.
example.
Okay. Okay. Fantastic. Thanks, Abhishek. So what you were in a nutshell, what you were trying to tell is, so there were some organizational level changes which happened, and you gave time to adjust to those changes, and now you feel that you have taken a right decision by staying in the current organization because your work is more valued there. So in a nutshell, you are trying to tell that specific story.
Yeah, yes, Prashant.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Great. Great answer. Thank you. So I like the way in which he has set the context. Maybe context could have been little simple to understand because okay, I might have understood it in the first go, but if I just listen to it from a very maybe I'm not experienced. Let's say 5-year-old kid is trying to understand what Abhishek is telling. It could have been little more simplistic in nature. So and that really helps the listenability of your answer, that you listen it very simple, and it improves the way in which you are actually trying to communicate. But I got the context of how you were trying to communicate. So let me also give my take on describe a time when you have embraced a change within your organization. The answer which Abhishek gave was more at an organizational level. I will tell my answer more at a team level, because any level you can tell and how you have proceeded there. So definitely let me give you my simple example. So this question was asked to me in my interview at LTI Mindtree. So how you embraced a small change or any change in your company. So before that, I was working with VMware. So when I joined VMware, I noticed that people are very work focused, and there is no fun element in the team, which I would definitely and there is no team spirit, and everybody is just talking about work aspects only. So I noticed this. So what I did is, and I also saw that a lot of people are working in and discussing about different contexts apart from work in silos. When I say apart from work, they were discussing life stories, they were discussing different books, and those concepts they were discussing in silos. So what I did was I created a platform called Learn and Share for those who want to collaborate in that session. And during that session, so it started with a team of 3 people, and then we came in that session, we started discussing about books and life stories, what we have learned this week, and anything of that sort. In that complete session, it will be driven by one person, there will be one moderator. So we started with a team of 3, and within the span of, so it continued for 40 weeks. It started from week number 1, it continued till 40 weeks, and by the time I left the organization, it had close to 25 folks who come into that call on an average every week, and we discuss other aspects apart from work. So it helped in developing a team spirit within my team. And so a lot of we started to know each other personally as well, so that really jumped up our productivity, and it helped us to know more about different aspects of individuals working into my team. So I changed something from yeah, this is what I answered, and it was taken positively by my current organization. So what I told is, I just sensed that my organization was little more much work oriented. I just changed a bit by adding other flavor to my team, by leading a change into my team. I have added some metrics that, okay, it grew. So first we started the team of 3, later on it went out to a forum of 25 people. I'm not telling that it spreads out across organization and that level of big change, but I'm trying to quantify each and every aspect. What I'm telling is, I'm trying to tell that it started in first week, went on till 40th week, and in this way, I am highlighting consistency, that change was sustained as well. So there are a couple of pointers which I've kept in mind while I was answering that question. So this type, and this also depends on which company you are trying to get interviewed. Okay, if the company is, let's say that, like Amazon, who's very much customer oriented, customer focused, they okay. On the risk of sounding little rude to that organization, they are little less employee oriented. They are more customer obsessed. So any change, customer related change, which if the recruiter would like to listen for companies like Amazon, if the company is more culture oriented, more employee friendly, they will like to listen to such change. I could sense that my current organization is more employee friendly. Hence, I gave this example of a change. So you have to get the pulse of the organization before you think of such stories, and that will help you in setting up the right context from the start, that you are a good fit pertaining to the values of the organization. So values of VMware, my past organization, were more like on the grounds of execution, passion, empathy, and integrity. So it included people aspects. But if you see values of Amazon, they will sound a little different. So our stories should be molded in the way it sounds relevant to that organization. So in a way that, okay, if I have one story to tell, but the story should change. It will be good if you have multiple things to share, but I feel that you should be telling up that story on which you are confident upon. But if you have multiple things to share, but definitely consider which type of company you are trying to get interview, for which you are giving your interview, and then answer it in that way. So that would be my take and my answer on this one. I hope that this gave you something new to think upon, how you should be answering this question. So let's just give a thumbs up on that you're with me on this one, and you got to learn something new. Great, great. Okay, we have already spent 1 hour 20 minutes, and I really admire your time, that we still have more than 50% of the folks which were there initially. So really thanks for that. So let us go to the next question, and probably we'll keep it very short, and then we'll take on to the question and answer. Anushka, will that be fine? I think we have a lot of questions, but this is little more engaging, so this is taking more time. I will take this question, and then probably I'll shift to question and answer from the audience.
Sure, no problem.
Sure, fantastic. So, what would be your? So, this is not a directly behavioral round question, but this question is important and helps you think a lot about yourself. You won't find this answer again. You won't find answer for this question online. Yeah, you can find a lot of adjectives to describe yourself as a person, but definitely you need a story to tell about that specific skill to be discussed. So I will tell my answer as well, maybe in a unique way. I will try to not sound very like I'm hardworking and I'm diligent. So by without using those terms, how you can answer this question, I'll give a try. But before that, anybody would just like to give a response on this one? I'm happy to take that. Yeah, Nandini, would you like to give a try on this one? Yeah, go ahead and
Yeah.
unmute yourself and yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think one of my greatest weakness would be I'm a little shy to speak out in public. So I usually get nervous around people, and I usually tend to hang up, or I usually tend to stop speaking during the interview. So I guess that is one of my greatest weakness, and that is like I am like not sure. I usually get confused what to talk about. Like I know the answer for the question, but I tend to get confused and everything. And like one of my greatest strength, I would say, I like to learn new things. So I tend to, whenever there's a new software or something, like there is something new release, so I usually tend to go search it up and learn about it more.
Okay, okay. Anybody? So I'll give you feedback, Nandini. Maybe if I get one more answer, any more answer? Thanks, Nandini. Thanks, Ratan. Any more quick answer before we move to maybe giving a yep. Yep, Poonam, would you like to give a try?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, good.
So, one strength of mine is what I feel is that I'm very flexible in nature. So, like, I can adapt to situations comparatively quicker than others. So that's one I think that I have as my strength. And one weakness is sometimes I tend to overthink a lot over a project or a project only. So before even trying, I start overthinking, and that makes me nervous about the outcomings and all. So yeah, that I need to work on. So yes.
Okay, okay, okay. So let me now give feedback to Nandini first. So Nandini, you told about your weakness first, and then you told about your strength. So first thing, whenever you are answering this question, just make sure that you tell your strengths first. First, there should be positivity, and then you should go towards, maybe I'm not telling your weakness is negative, but first let us spread positivity and then talk about maybe negative aspects. So that will be my number one pointer. Number two pointer is, okay, maybe a personal thing. You are trying to overcome your weakness by speaking in a public forum now itself. So a pat on back on that one, that you are attempting to overcome your weakness. This shows that you are on the right track. So just I just loved it when you told that I fear being talking in public, but that you already did. So you are on the right track. So and also Poonam, you talked about being flexible as your biggest strength, and overthinking as a little bit of overthinker as your weakness. So I could find these common things, like a common feedback for both of them is, when you are talking about our strength or weakness, just give a small story to back it up. When you are talking about flexibility, Poonam, tell a situation where you are flexible, or tell a situation where you overthought, or maybe if you can give a small context around that specific strength, it adds more credibility to your point which you are telling, and it showcases that you are just not talking for namesake, and you are genuinely trying to work upon it. So, and it showcases that you call your strength as a strength due to a reason. So now, I hope that you got it, Nandini. I hope that you also got it. What I'm trying to convey here. So this was my feedback for both the answers. Yeah, okay. So now, how I'll answer you. So you might have heard about strengths and weakness. Maybe a typical strength weakness would be like, I'm hardworking, and as I told you, like a lot of those. I will attempt to answer this question in a different way. Maybe it is not an ideal answer per se. Nothing, no answer is an ideal answer. But I'll try to give a context in my way. One of my biggest strength is I can keep quiet till 20th minute in a 30-minute call. In so this is my strength, and one of my weakness would be I struggle being dynamically concise. Okay. So if I just give a context around my weakness, just like I told, maybe if I had 15 minutes for a demo, and in last moment the customer told me that I don't have 15 minutes, you have just 5 minutes to give a demo, I struggle to dynamically concise my 15 minutes demo into a 5 minute thing. And I try to incorporate everything into those 5 minutes. It becomes difficult for any customer to understand, and hence I call that as a weakness. So I just gave a strength, I gave a weakness, I gave a context around my weakness. And the strength, and yeah, I'm definitely right, but just let me. So I just gave number one strength which I highlighted, that I can stay quiet for 20 minutes in a 30-minute call. This is highlighting my listening ability. If I could have directly told listening ability, it could have sound a little okay. I know this. Like everybody is a good listener. Everybody is trying to use those similar adjectives, but I tried to give that answer in a different way. Second, I struggle to dynamically concise myself. So again, this is a feedback which I gave to her. I'm just trying to be concise. I just at times I struggle to concise myself in whatever things I'm trying to convey. So I used a different terminology to handle my weakness. And when you use such unique terms, it increases that okay, I'm trying to understand what Prashant is trying to mention. And the recruiter will think that okay, this is something different from what I heard from a previous candidate. So yeah, sir, we should give answer honestly. Okay, make it up till you okay, fake it till you make it. And I can tell this in an open forum. So any story, whatever you want to tell about it. But if you can sound confident, I see a lot of people, they don't sound confident while faking it up. So if you feel that you are sounding confident, it is good too. I hope that answered your question. I know this is a very high level answer, but you should definitely it will be good if you have a short story and if you are making it sound big, that you can do. That at times I do that. So that you can do, but if it is completely faked up, then you can have difficulties if there are some follow up questions. So you have to be a fake master if you have to just cover up on everything in a fake story. So I would tell that. Yep. And so if this question is being asked by a different organization, let's say if I'm interviewing for a BA role or for a technical role, I will mold my strengths and weakness in a different way. So that would be my answer on this one. I see that we are already on top of time. So any question which is left unanswered and the person is still available, I would like to discuss that. Yeah, so Anushka, if you can just read out a couple of questions, then probably I can try answering on that one. Yep.
Sure. So one of the recent question is, sir, most of these questions are related to organizational interviews, and I am preparing for IIM and other B school interviews. Can you please
Hmm.
also shed a light on it too?
Okay. Okay. So in such interviews, so I have not been part of any IIM, but even my college, so I'm a management graduate, so I have also given that same interview. So in those interviews, strengths and weakness, so this your one strength and one weakness was asked to me in my interview as well. So there are a couple of questions which even they ask. Every college has its own interview pattern. Interview questions may vary. They have different ways to keep to bring you in a struggling zone. They have different ways. So you can just read more about your target college and your past interview questions while getting through those colleges. Definitely you can check it about. But there are a couple of questions, behavioral questions, which I was asked in my college. I hope that gave a perspective to this one. Maybe next question. and
Yes,
and
sure.
what you yeah. So before we go on to that question, if you have more things to discuss upon, definitely we can have you can reach me out in person. You can block some time with me, and we can have a one-on-one free trial where I help uh, my mentees on a long-term basis as well. I guide them on how they can get in good companies, how they can clear interview rounds, or rectify their resumes, or maybe use modern tools like ChatGPT to improvise their resumes. I'm also learning these new things to keep up with pace on how I can help you or how I can help majority of folks. So I do couple of things. I do work on communication skills as well. So recently, two of my mentees have joined to develop their communication skills in my long term program. So definitely, if you feel like you want to discuss more things, you can have a one on one free trial with me where I'll be discussing and trying to help you on how you can approach your problem. Definitely. Yeah. Any more questions, Anushka, before we wind up?
So as of now, we do not have any other questions. So if anyone else wants to get answers, please do drop your questions here.
I do know this was a little long session. Yeah. Thanks for being there till the end. Means a lot.
Hello, Prashant.
So
Yeah, yeah,
I
go ahead.
think there are no other questions that have popped up. I
I
think
heard a
so.
sound.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
have
know.
one question, one little question.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Prashant.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Prashant, I recently started giving interviews, right? So, what I feel myself is I feel somewhat underconfident when I'm answering the questions of interviews, right?
Hmm.
So, my question is how to be confident? It is not like that I don't know the answers of those questions. I know
Okay,
answer of the every question, but when I'm answering, I don't feel confident. So, how
got
to
it.
be like
Got it.
confident?
The only answer which I have here is practice. Practice giving mock interviews. What I do, so I have helped this to one of the mentees who had joined me. Now he's placed. So I took around 8 mock interviews of with that person by acting as a recruiter, by acting as a fake recruiter in front of the person, and then give immediate feedbacks. So anything which you do more number of times will definitely improve upon your confidence. So that I would recommend. That is the only technique which I have learned from by my experience by working with in last 5 months. That mock interview is the way to feel confident for answering questions in interview. Feel free to join
Yeah,
me
Prashant,
there. You
that's
can you
yeah.
can you can discuss one on one with me, probably. Shivkumar.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I will help.
Yeah,
Yes. Thank
sure.
you for your.
Yeah. Anything else from folks who are there on the call?
One
Anushka,
question, maybe.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, go ahead,
this
go ahead.
is this a link that I can schedule one-to-one session with you?
Okay, okay, fantastic. We'll catch up there. Yeah. Yeah. So Anushka, if there are no more questions, then we can wind it up. Probably, I feel that okay. I'm done I'm not actually done with my content. There were a couple of more things, but we are already on top of time. So if you have anything more to be discussed, we can catch up one on one.
yeah.
Definitely.
So I am
Thank you.
adding the link in the chat box from where you can book a one-on-one free trial with the mentor. So you can find the link in the chat box and book a free trial with him.
Yeah.
Okay, and we will be sharing the recording of this entire video through email and WhatsApp, so you would get it directly there. Thank you for joining the session. Thank you, Prashant, for hosting this amazing session.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Anushka. Thank you, team. Thank you.